This is Gus Summers, and you're watching In-Show Celebrity. I take every Monday to talk about some of my favorite films and actors. Right now, I am sitting at the famed Chinese Theater at the Dances with Films 18th Annual Film Festival. So I thought, what a perfect time to talk about movie stars and films at the center of the entertainment industry. Well, this week, we have a fantastic movie star, another of Hollywood's greats, Mr. Gilbert Roland. This grand actor had his career begin in the early 1920s. His first film starred alongside with Lon Chaney. And his career continued basically up to the time of his passing. He was a prolific actor with so many great films and worked with some of the greatest actors Hollywood has ever had. Well, first up is a film that is well known because not only did he star in it, he also co-wrote it. The film Robin Hood of Monterey. He plays the Cisco Kid. You know, one of those guys that, stands up for right and wrong and, takes from the rich, takes from the poor. Fantastic story. He ended up doing a few of those. Well, he plays Cisco, and he finds a son of a friend of his, of a local gentleman who had a hacienda. His son comes riding along, and he gets shot, and he has to find out what is happening. So his son's name, the young man is named Eduardo. He tells the Cisco Kid that he's being chased and wrongly accused of killing his father. And so Cisco goes to investigate because like I said, he's a lifelong friend. And he finds out that a young lady who started to manipulate the father and made him fall in love with her, and she was actually a con artist. Another fine actress of the day, Miss Evelyn Brent. She played Maria, and Eduardo had found out that she had a lover and was double-crossing her father. Eduardo and his father got into a struggle, and he got shot. And it looks like Eduardo shot him. We don't know, because all we know is that we all we hear is a gunfire. So when Gilbert Roland shows up, he finds out that it's Maria. They're old friends, and she says, you can stay as long as you want. And he says, basically, I will. And she said, you better be careful, because there's a sheriff would like to know where that you're here. And he says, well, right back at you. I know another little sheriff would like to know that you're here now. And so, thus begins the intrigue. Her lover goes and tells the sheriff that the Cisco Kid is there, and Gilbert Roland is trying to help figure out what happened to the father, help Eduardo, and help a young lady that Eduardo is in love with. So, you have all this wonderful little intrigue in this great, Western starring Gilbert Roland. Fantastic. And, of course, he has his great sidekick, Pancho, with him. So, fantastic movie. Gilbert Roland is just great in it. Next up is another favorite of mine. It's literally one of my favorite films, and I debated to use it here and another actor who I'll be doing soon, and I thought, well, I have to give it to Gilbert Roland. It's called Beneath 12 Mile Wreath. his name is Mike Petrakis. He plays a Greek sponge diver. Him and his son are entrepreneurs, and they dive for sponges off the Florida coast. And his son, another grand actor, and again another favorite of mine, Mr. Robert Wagner. They play father and son. He plays Tony Petrakis, and he gets in all sorts of mischief. Iconic Robert Wagner role. He's suave and debonair and smiles, and it's just like I said. I debated going back and forth. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to use it for Gilbert Roland, because I just love Gilbert Roland in this. He's such a wonderful actor. He plays. He's Greek, and so he wears the cap. He has his shirt open, his sleeves rolled up, and very Greek, and in his manner, it was. Just again great. So they're fishing, they're sponge diving, and there's another local family who this is basically their area, and they don't want any Greeks there. The actor who portrays Thomas Ray, if I remember the last name, Richard Boone. Richard Boone, you know him from television, westerns. A great actor. He's got this tough, rugged look, and so they're in conflict, and he's ready. If we have to destroy their ship, kill them, whatever it takes, but they're not infringing on our territory. So you have this little battle between them. One day they go to shore, and to find out, if I remember correctly, Richard Boone and some of his men take all kinds of sponges. So here comes Gilbert Roland and Robert Wagner to confront them. To add peril to this, if there isn't already a lot of conflict, Robert Wagner sees Richard Boone's daughter, and he's just infatuated with her. They're in like a local restaurant, and he's, come on, let's go dance, and just loves her, and he's just doting all over her. Portrayed wonderfully by Terry Moore. She plays Gwen, and she has a suitor, her boyfriend, who's just hating on Robert Wagner, a young Peter Graves. You remember Peter Graves from Mission Impossible. So he plays Arnold, and he just wants to beat on on Robert Wagner, and then finally this fight breaks out, and the police come, they break it up, and then Robert Wagner takes Terry Moore out, and Peter Graves follows him, and he starts to beat on Robert Wagner, and here comes Gilbert Roland. He's the dad. Really? All right. Well, it's a great scene. It's the dad, and Gilbert Roland is just fighting. But great film. I mean, it's like CinemaScope, beautiful colors. The diving, everything. You got to see it. Wonderful film. Last film. Great. It's a complete contrast. So you go from 12 Mile Reef to this next film that's shot in the desert. The film, The Reward. So it starts Gilbert Roland as a local captain in Mexico, who goes after a fugitive, but the fugitive is brought to his attention by another grand actor, Mr. Max van Sydow. He's a crop duster who accidentally crashes into a water tower, and he gets arrested. And Gilbert Roland saying, well, you got to pay for it, and he doesn't. Well, I don't have any money, but if we go after this fugitive, there's $50,000 in it for us. We'll split it. And so him and Gilbert Roland agree. They're going to keep it quiet, but they're going to say, we're going to go after the fugitive, who turns out to be, again, another fine actor, Mr. Efrem Zimbalist Jr. Yeah, so he plays a fugitive who is being pursued because supposedly he kidnapped someone's son and killed them, and so on and so forth. So he is trying to escape across the desert with his girlfriend. So now you have Gilbert Roland and Max von Sydow, and then his sergeants coming with him. It's his sergeant Lopez. He was a great Mexican actor, director, writer, what have you. Really, really well known, Emilio Fernandez. He plays just this big, gruff, mean guy, and Gilbert Roland is always telling Max von Sydow, he's an animal, he's a beast. He's not, be careful with him. And so you have them now trekking across this desert. They capture Efrem Zimbalist Jr. and now the journey is to bring him back, and then all the turmoil that happens because now you have clashing of characters, and then Lopez incidentally finds out why they're really capturing him. Not just because he's a fugitive, it's because there's a reward, and he's telling everyone, now we're all going to split, we're all going to take it back, and we all get money. And so then that starts, major conflict between them all. Gilbert Roland gets sick, and he's telling Max von Sydow, be careful. You have Efrem Zimbalist Jr. talking to Max von Sydow, telling him, let's, if you let me go, we arrange something. But great film. You got to see it. But the thing about Gilbert Roland is that he had this way about him. He had this sophistication. He had this international presence. The way he spoke, the way he acted and moved, it wasn't typical. So I think that's why he fit in so many of these different roles, going from a Greek fisherman to a cowboy and a sheriff, and so many other films where his, like I said, his manner and sophistication really shined. But fantastic actor. I mean, definitely always worth seeing his films. Again, the films, Robin Hood of Monterey, Beneath 12-Mile Wreath, and The Reward. Again, great films, and I know that you'll love him as soon as you see him. Well, that's what we got for you today here from Chinese Theater in Hollywood. This has been Gus Summers. You're watching In-Show Celebrities, and of course, be sure to visit us every Monday where I talk about some of my favorite films and actors. And of course, remember, don't forget to visit us every Thursday at theinshow.com, where I host The In Show, and I bring all sorts of celebrities and guests in to talk about their projects or whatever it is that they want to talk about. Of course, look for us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Flickr, all those great social media sites. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, Gus has left the building.